Oregon State wraps up the home schedule this weekend with a visit from Arizona State and the final game in Reser Stadium for 16 seniors.
Hey, let's go jog down the street.
Coach Corey Hall joins us to break down the matchup with the Sun Devils and look back at last week's visit to Arizona.
Garrettson into the end zone. Caught! Touchdown!
Beavers Inside the Huddle starts now.
Everybody be a playmaker today. Let's go play, guys. Here we go.
Throws toward the back of the end zone. Touchdown, Beavers!
November in the great state of Oregon means the rains are here, and that could bode well for the Beavs as Arizona State from the desert. They come up this weekend to wrap up the home slate for the Beavs in Reser Stadium. Welcome into the Inside the Huddle studio along with Steve Priest. I'm Dusty Hare. Welcome in tonight. We'll be joined by Coach Corey Hall coming up in a few short minutes. But Steve, let's get right to this. We'll recap what happened last week as part of our Pyramid Heating and Cooling Hot and Cold, brought to you by Pyramid Heating and Cooling. To the hot stuff first, it was a tale of two halves. Let's look at your keys to the game.
Well, Darryl Garrettson, number 3, that was the hot. Second half, he had over 200 yards throwing. He had 4 touchdowns, had an interception, but it was really a last gasp getting rid of it. Beavs also controlled possession, Dusty. They had almost 34 minutes of possession time. And you watch Darryl, he threw every kind of pass, got some great catches. That one by young Isaiah Hodgins threw a great ball. Hernandez here in the corner. Great job, as always, by Timmy Hernandez getting open. He got the backs in play, both Nall and AP. Everybody, really, he spread the ball as well as you can put it there. And look at the great running. And did you notice the great block downfield? That was cool.
You know, as we take a look at these first half or second half stats, I mean, it did just look like there was a better flow in that second half. The play calling kind of loosened up. We saw him checking down and finding his backs out of the backfield a whole lot more. And Darryl Garrettson looked like the guy that we're used to seeing in the pocket.
Well, I think so too, and you know, I think it's difficult right now because of the situation with quarterbacks. You've already lost your original starter, and Darryl's coming into his own. But one of the things he does really well is he runs the football, and the Beavers aren't able to do that with just him right now. They're playing backup people who were playing. You know, Moran was a defensive back the start of this year, and so they're having to stay away from some of the things they'd like to do.
Well, you know, with the onto the cold part, you said Darryl Garrettson can run the ball. Khalil Tate is the cold part. It wasn't just the Khalil Tate show. J.J. Taylor, Nick Wilson also having a day on the grounds. 3 backs over 100 yards, but the quarterback going for 206.
532 yards rushing the football. And watch this run of this guy's. He is amazing. He looks thin. He looks tall. He looks is incredibly fast as you watch him just leave people here. He ran the sweep. He ran the read. He ran the draw. I don't know. I didn't see him screen to himself, but he could have. You know, he was everywhere on that field. The Beavers had him the first 3 times they had the ball. The first 3 series, the Beavers had him in 3rd and long. And all 3 times he just caught the ball. He looked right, he looked left, and decided where he was going to run and made the first down. A tremendous talent, individual talent. I don't think I've seen any better in a long time.
And perfect fit for Rich Rodriguez's offense.
Oh, boy.
I mean, it is a match made in heaven with those two there. All right, let's take a look back at that game against Arizona and a look ahead with Coach Corey Hall as the Arizona State Sun Devils come a-calling into Reser Stadium. Coach Hall will join us, and he will not be racing Steve at any point during this show. Beavers Inside the Huddle rolls on.
It's about finishing for them. This is number 4, Thomas Tyner, and another first down. This is Nall, got the first down. They are running guys over. Garrettson off balance. Touchdown, Beavers! Garrettson out of the backfield to Nall. Nall made a great move, hit him with the sauce. Oh, touchdown, Beavers!
Welcome back into Beavers Inside the Huddle as we head down to Corvallis, where we're joined by the coach of the Beavs, Corey Hall. And Coach Hall, welcome in this evening, and tell us a little bit about the matchup with Arizona, how things went down there, 49-28 setback, but your guys kept fighting throughout that thing, and the effort was there.
Absolutely, you know, and that's what I take my hat off to my players for being, you know, they're being tough, and they don't give up. And so, you saw, again, the tale of two halves. You know, obviously, you wanted a better outcome. We all wanted a better outcome. But, you know, I look for the positive. And one of the positives I took out of that game is that these players are still fighting. They're still playing hard. And they really love football. You know, that game with Arizona, you know, it got away early. And then to try to reel it back in, you know, that second half, you know, just that, you know, them sticking with the run and our inability to be, you know, less effective in stopping it, again, it posed to be the difference, you know, in that game. So Arizona not taking anything away from it. It's just, you know, we got to, and you start to see that, Kyle, Arizona, we just got to make sure that we do our part on defense, you know. So, you know, it's one of those deals now. I sit back here and going into, the fifth game now. And you look to just keep everyone encouraged, keep everyone going, because, again, there's a lot of football left in this team, and there's a lot of good football left, you know, and just what we got to do is we got to put two halves of football on display.
Coach,
you know, very supportive of, you know, the players and everyone involved, because one thing they have not done is quit.
offensively, Coach, the 80 yards in the first half, 82 actually, and then up to 280 in the second half. Was that great? I mean, there has to be some really good coaching adjustments for that second half on the offensive side of the ball. You changed a little bit of what you've done in that second half, but it was a different team offensively that second half. Can you talk about that, please?
Absolutely. You know, it just showed the kind of grit that we have with our players, and then it just talks to, like you said, the adjustment of the offensive staff. You know, they went in and they devised a great game plan for the second half and made adjustments to put the players in spots to where they would thrive, and I think that's what you saw in the second half. It did. It looked like two totally different offenses, and it's not to say that offense wasn't there, you know, but again, that's a testament to the offensive coaching staff. You know, they did a great job of making the adjustments at halftime. So, you know, you look at that, and again, you say, well, two halves. You know, you put two halves together like you did the second half, and then, you know, we're talking about, again, you know, what the game looks like in the last minute and 32 minutes left of the game. So, you know, you go back and it's woulda, coulda, shoulda. It's, you know, anytime, and I firmly believe that you have time on the clock, anytime that you have a certain amount of time on the clock, anything can happen. And so, you know, I believe that the offensive staff did a great job of realizing that and then putting forth a great second half game plan.
You know, the quarterback on the other side last week was a guy that the first couple weeks of the season, nobody knew who he was. Khalil Tate comes on, and now he's in the conversation in the Heisman Trophy race now, and one of the top 5 guys in Vegas on the betting line to win the Heisman. You talk about that young man and just what it is as a defensive mind trying to contain a quarterback as a dynamic, especially with his legs.
I mean, obviously, you know, going into it, we knew Khalil Tate was very explosive. So, you know, trying to defense him and trying to make sure we had the numbers to be able to match up, you know, there in the box in the run game with him. Again, that was a great task, right, defensively. And so trying to defense that, you know, you always have to, one, on offense, establish the run, and they did a good job of establishing their run. And, you know, it's the defense's responsibility to stop it, obviously. And so, you know, he did a great job. He did exactly what Rich Rod, you know, put him in that offensive system to do, and, you know, he's running off into success. And, you know, he deserves it. You know, you're talking about a guy, like you said, the first couple of weeks, no one knew who Khalil Tate was. You know, we knew because at the end of last season, he took the last, maybe, I don't know, 10 reps against us. So, you know, he's dynamic and he can make plays with his feet. And so, you know, opposing defenses have to understand that they're always going to have to count one more for him, you know, because, again, you can't take away from what they have as far as running back-wise. You know, they still have some threats there with Nick Wilson and crew. You know, so they have the ability to, you know, it's a triple threat. So, again, great job. And moving forward, I wish them all the best.
by hook or crook, let's call it, Kiewitzel was in the game the first half and late in the game the week before, and he is really playing well. The speed he showed on one breakaway run where he caught the fellow from behind, great talent, and you've also got Jay Irvine back. You've got some Isaiah Dunn is starting to really play well. These young guys, they're really taking off.
Well, obviously, yes. I mean, and they're doing a great job with their development, and they're really becoming students of the game. And you know, that's what you see. You see when you watch Kiewitzel, you can turn on the tape and you can watch every play. I mean, one thing about Key is he gives 100% effort every down, and you know, it was really important to get Jay Irvine back in the fold, and that was a good game to get him kind of reacclimated to playing out there on the island. Yeah, Isaiah Dunn is still coming along as a true freshman. And so, yes, no, I mean, the future is bright. There are some keys, there's some pieces to the puzzle here. And I mean, there's a lot more. But, yes, no, I mean, you look at bright. You know, he's coming back, and you know, when you look at the core group of guys, you know, on that defense and their development, you know, to date, again, they're going to continue to get better, you know, week in and week out. You just, you know, you want them to stay engaged, you want them to stay focused, and you want them to continue to develop in the right way. And you know, again, you have guys on his staff that have done a really good job of staying consistent in that regard. So I think you're going to see the continued, you know, developmental success of young guys, you know, throughout the final 2 weeks. And, you know, you just want to keep everybody healthy, and you want to kind of get that defense, you know, you want to get it, you know, clicking on all cylinders. You want to have everyone in the fold. Obviously, you guys know Bright missed the first half, and he came back, played the second half, and, you know, again, he hopped right in and did a good job. So, you know, but yes, I mean, Kiewitzel, that, you know, running back down, it just shows you what kind of athlete he is. He's very talented. And if you also watch that play, you'll see Isaiah Dunn coming off the corner. Yeah. So both of those young guys were chasing him down and displayed a lot of speed.
All right, we're just getting underway with Coach Hall. As we took a look back at Arizona, we'll take a look forward at Arizona State, the matchup with the Sun Devils, coming into Reser Stadium to close up shop in Corvallis for the season. We're back with Coach Corey Hall down in Corvallis as we take a look forward at the Arizona State Sun Devils.
Coach, let's talk Arizona State's offense. Not like Khalil Tate, but you've got another talented quarterback this week. Manny Wilkins does it all. I mean, he's experienced. He's got a strong arm. He's got tremendous accuracy. And he happens, in my view, I think he's got more talent around him in the skill positions. The great receiver, a couple of real good receivers, actually. Another 2 good running backs. Talk about their offense, what you do to hold them down.
I mean, it's the same thing. You know, like you said, you know, they have a few good running backs, so they're able to be very explosive in the run game. And then, you know, you have to account for the skill outside on the edges, N'Keal Harry and crew. So yes, and then, like, you know, to your point, he does. He's a veteran guy. He has a strong arm. So again, what we have to do is, again, you have to stop the run. You know, they do a lot of things out on the perimeter in the screen game. You know, they're going to try to keep us off balance. And again, the goal every week, like I said, is kind of like, you know, clinic talk, is you have to stop that run, you know, and you have to make a team, an offense, one-dimensional. So what we're going to have to do is, again, we're going to have to play physical. And, you know, we got to make sure we minimize our mistakes. Okay, so we got to play, you know, 4 quarters. And, you know, we got to make sure that we're in the right position, you know, down in and down out every series, and make sure we understand that they're on offense and they're going to make some plays. But what we got to do is we got to make our plays when we have the opportunity. We have to be cognizant of, you know, different formations and shifts and things that they do. And again, you just have to contain that offense. You know, you're going to have to, you have to make that quarterback feel real uncomfortable. But again, you know, that starts with first establishing that we have to stop the run. And you know, you had a good week of practice, and you know, we had a good week of practice last week. So, you know, this being the last home game for, you know, a lot of the seniors, you know, emotions be running high, and you know, the intention the intentions are there. You know, it is to go out and play a physical brand of football and to really play mistake-free football. We got to minimize those. We do that, and then again, you can make that offense ineffective, you know. But you have to go in with the mindset of, you know, we got to play sound, we got to play physical, we got to pay attention to our keys, and, you know, you got to go through the process. You got to go through the process of eliminating some of the things that they can hurt you with out on the perimeter, as well as between the tackles.
You know, you mentioned N'Keal Harry briefly a little bit ago. The freak show's coming to town. I mean, this kid is a monster. You're a defensive back. You're the secondaries coach. You thrive on having these big play, big-bodied receivers. What do you tell your defensive backs when you got, you know, one of the best wide receivers in the country coming into Reser Stadium?
I mean, you tell them to be physical. You know, you tell them that, you know, these are the games that you live for, you know, especially as a defensive back. These are the kind of games where you make a name for yourself. You got to, most importantly, you got to stay engaged the whole game. You got to make sure that you're getting a body on a body with him, and understand that he's going to go up and he's going to make aggressive catches. He's going to make those hard catches, and you got to stay engaged with him even down the field. So a game like this, again, and you can't just really focus on one receiver, because they have a few good receivers there. So you got to come in, and again, you got to make sure you're technically sound as a defensive back, and you got to, you know, don't give up any plays with a receiving core like this, or with an offensive skill that Arizona State possesses. You have to make sure that they are making plays, and so within them trying to make plays and not just giving up plays, you got to make your plays. So, you know, both being on scholarship, you know, receivers and DBs, we got to make sure that, you know, we step up to the challenge, and, you know, you contain him. You know, you go up, you compete for the ball, and, you know, when he catches it on those screens, you make sure you hit him.
Flipping sides to the other side of the ball, it's time now for the Expert Pick, brought to you by your local Carrier Heating and Air Conditioning dealers. Carrier, turn to the experts.
Coach, my expert pick this week is Darryl Garrettson. He's been getting more consistent. He overthrew a couple in the first half last week, but came back 4 touchdowns in the second half. His leadership is evident. He isn't running as much as I thought, but I understand the quarterback situation. Talk about him and where he's come this season.
I mean, Darryl Garrettson, you spoke to it. He's a tremendous leader, you know, back there at the quarterback spot. And I mean, look at it. You know, look at what he's done and how far he's come. You know, everyone's looking to him in that leadership role, and he's done a really good job of managing games, managing the clock, and putting us in, you know, the right situation. You see that second half, and you see the 4 touchdowns. It just kind of talks to his, you know, his improvement over the last, you know, few weeks. So Darryl Garrettson is an asset to this team, and I couldn't be happier to have him on our team, on our sideline. And I can assure you that the players feel the same, and they share the same sentiment.
Let's continue the conversation.
He's tough. Darryl Garrettson's tough kid. That's what.
Let's continue the conversation with Arizona State as we get Coach's keys to the game next on Inside the Huddle. The Arizona State Sun Devils coming into Reser Stadium the final time. The seniors will be playing in front of the home crowd in Corvallis in their careers. Saturday, it'll be a day kick, noon at Reser, as we welcome back in Coach Corey Hall. And Coach Hall, as the Sun Devils come a-calling, what are the keys to the game for the Beavs?
Again, we got to protect the football. You know, they have a great defense. You know, we got to keep those linebackers, you know, from taking the ball away. And then on defense, again, we have to stop N'Keal Harry, and we got to stop the run. Okay, we got to make sure that we're, you know, lined properly and we're striking people. You know, we got to inflict pain, and that's going to start with stopping that run game and defensing N'Keal Harry. Special teams wise, again, we got to make sure we create, you know, field position and put our offense in a position to be able to drive down, keep them playing on the short fields, and have fun.
There we go. There we go. Coach Hall, thank you very much for your time. Good luck this week.
Hey, thank you very much.
Thanks, Coach. Go Beavs.
All right, we got a host of Beaver programming for you right here on NBC Sports Northwest. Go Beavs every Friday. 11 o'clock this week, talking Beavs, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. And then us, Beavers, Inside the Huddle, a Thanksgiving night edition. So when you're on the couch, you got the tryptophan going, you can watch Inside the Huddle as we get you ready for the Civil War. All right, now it's time for the Honda Keys to the Game, brought to you by your local Northwest Honda dealer. Stop by your local Northwest Honda dealer or visit us online today at northwesthondadealers.com. What do you got for us, Steve?
Oh, offensively, I'm concerned about the protection. This is a team that got three guys, Smallwood, Latu, and JoJo Wilkes, who are putting pressure on everybody. Offensive line for the Beavers has to be solid. They have to keep those people out. Defensively, same thing as always. Stop the run. Stop the run and win the turnover battle. This is a huge turnover team at Arizona State. They are one of the best in the country for turnovers. Beavers need to win that. And on defense, or excuse me, on the score, you got to score on defense and special teams. The Beavers, I believe, need 40 points. This is another one of those 37-point teams that they're playing, and they're going to have to score points, and I think we need to get them in different ways.
All right, we'll find out how it all sorts out. Noon on in Corvallis, Reser Stadium, Oregon State, Arizona State. We'll be back next week to recap it, and it's Civil War week next week. Inside the Huddle next Thursday, right here on NBC Sports Northwest.